Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
What's up?
What's up? I'm just sitting here at my desk. I just got home. Just to be clear, I'm recording this and I'll be uploading this to YouTube, and that's okay with you, right?
Yeah, I've already had a few videos copied anyways, so I guess this is for YouTube anyways.
I see. I saw a few of those.
Oh, you did. This is
Yeah.
probably the songs and some of the other stuff I've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Anyways, good to meet you. My name is also Jacob.
Huh, another Jacob.
Yeah. Or there are a lot of us. Yeah. It's just Chris, the legacy of Chris Chan. You've been really inserting yourself in sort of into it recently. You've been really going after Chris for his love and affection, and people are starting to really get curious about you. They find your mannerisms a little odd. There's nothing wrong
Oh,
with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just people are curious because that's naturally.
okay. I kind of figured they would be.
Yeah.
Most of the I'm drunk or whatever, drunk or something, whatever.
Were you
First you
drunk?
can tell. Not now. Not
Not
today,
now.
I didn't. But
I see.
drunk on the song videos and some of the comments, but not all of them were drunk.
Do you drink often?
Yeah,
I
I
see.
have do beer.
I see. I'm only 20, so I can't quite drink yet. But
Oh yeah, I guess you gotta wait till next year for your big 21st.
oh yeah, big 21st. That's coming in a couple months. So, anyways, I was gonna ask you a few questions about yourself. Nothing too personal. You wouldn't mind sharing with people. You've already put yourself out there quite a bit, so I figured you might be somewhat okay with it. Anyways,
Yeah.
so the obvious thing. Let's just start with something simple. So tell me about yourself.
In California, I was diagnosed here in California, raised, never really left the state much, and I've been trying to find others like myself, and I've had success in the past finding others like myself, but all of them been far away also.
Been far
And,
away.
yeah, the closest person I ever talked to was from Southern California. She was similar to Christine. She was pretty similar.
I
I did
see.
eventually meet that person.
Was she also a trans woman?
She had the same issues pretty much. She's on my Facebook as Alicia Salazar. I think Alicia's archery now. She
Alicia
passed
Salazar.
away.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's
And her aunt told me they got into a road accident.
that's no
And
good.
she didn't survive it.
That California traffic is heavy. You gotta be careful. I've never been myself, but I've driven through Miami on during rush hour during a basketball game, so I imagine that's similar.
Well, it's like that every day, and California's not worth visiting now anyways. It's completely smoked over.
Really, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, I took pictures of the sky, but I couldn't get them off my phone. Phone and computer just don't like won't talk.
There's a saying if you can't. It's a saying if you can't see, the sky in the city, you shouldn't trust it.
Yeah, I couldn't see the sky, so it was it said
Yeah.
sunny and it looked overcast. It looked like London fog. It's so thick today.
Just because you can't see the sun doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, it was hiding. It was just a little yellow disc. So thick
Yeah.
with smoke, you can literally look at the sun and not hurt your eyes.
Well, that's convenient, I guess.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I see. So you said you were diagnosed in California. Do you have autism?
Yeah.
I see. I think you mentioned it somewhere.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, it's just no, I haven't been like hardcore reading through your stuff. It's just like I looked through your tweets a couple times, and then like ever since then, Twitter thinks like, yeah, we should like this guy. We should show you every tweet he ever does now, because that's what they do.
Well,
You know, they think you
most
want to
of
see
them,
it.
most of them are on Kiwi farms. Most of my tweets have been posted in there. At least some of
Oh,
the
really?
But some of the more recent ones, I haven't seen them yet. I haven't seen them posted. I think they stopped following it.
Yeah, so people are already aware of your presence on Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, I was there twice, and they're currently the second profile.
Yeah, I saw a thread about you on there a couple of months ago, I think, maybe it was a month ago, and I don't really, I don't really fall in with that Kiwi Farms situation. I don't always approve of what they do,
Man, they seem pretty obsessed, even worse than I am.
Oh yeah, they're bad. I spent 4 years reading through the life of a man I've never met and his weird misadventures online. And if I think you're obsessed with someone, then you're probably obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. People have a weird. They find out about Christianity, get this weird fascination because it's nothing that pre-internet it couldn't have been possible. Someone's life couldn't have been so documented. It's very morbid. It's at first it was very sad, in an uncomfortable way, but now it just is. I kind of accepted his existence, I guess. But I was going to ask you, how'd you find out about Chris?
It was on a YouTube bullying video.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned the comic on there and mentioned 4chan. And then I searched the YouTube for a video to find out what the comic was. I originally thought it was just a little kid's comic until I found an adult who drew it. And then it was like, I saw that, it was like my girlfriend Alicia used to draw comics and stuff. She used to do that too.
Yeah.
And she used to make the comics about my books and all that. She read all my books that I wrote. And at that time, I didn't have 5,000 pages of stuff. I didn't have 5,000 pages, and she was able to keep up and stuff. And she used to make her own comics of my books. I don't have any of them. She never put anything online though. It was just between me and her. And a close group of friends we had on Yahoo when it used to have groups.
I see.
And it was like I see a lot of Christine and Alicia, my friend April, who lived in Minnesota, another person that was autistic. And I lost touch with her for I don't really remember what happened. I don't know what happened with her, but I think she got caught up with some other stuff of hers. Like she used to do fur trapping in her backyard. She said like a bunch of land.
Nice. That's a
and
good
her family
life.
had a cabin, and I think she just started off on her own thing, and I just never heard from her again.
That's a good life. You're content with it. It's very quiet. Quiet is good sometimes. Some people, it's necessary. Yeah.
There's no way having a
You'll have to forgive me. I completely zoned out because I was trying to figure out my mic was picking up audio from my computer and it shouldn't have been, and I kind of got caught up with that.
Oh, you're getting that weird whistling noise or whatever, aren't you?
Not that. It's like you're saying things, and that stops picking it up. The mic's also picking it up. I got headphones on. How'd you exactly find out about Christine again after you saw the bullying video? You said you saw a thing about 4chan.
I looked her up, and then I found a defunct YouTube channel of hers, and I don't know, like 2007 or something.
Oh,
So I
like
didn't know
yeah.
one of the old defunct ones that somebody, I guess it was hacked or something.
I think that was like the fourth one. The one in SOP still. There've been a lot of them. They just kept getting taken down because Chris would do something. Either you get like falsely reported or you actually break the rules pretty badly and they just have to remove his stuff.
Oh, well, I was watching that stuff, just getting into the comic, and I started seeing and the love stuff didn't happen until I found out about the transition in June or July. I think it was in July.
I see.
And I found out about the transition. That's when That's when I started having a crush on her and stuff.
I see. So like, it's what you're attracted to is like the female aspect of it. Because I noticed you said you had like homoerotic feelings in general. You mentioned that, I believed.
Yeah, mentioned it. People know about my sugar daddy and stuff, and
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that later, but I think we can get into that a bit later. I guess. I was a
I'll
little
get
curious
into it.
about that.
We'll
If
get
you're
to that later. Keep your questions in order.
Yeah, if you're comfortable talking about it. But yeah,
The whole world knows.
the whole world. I guess you're right. Once it's out there, there's not much you can do to change that.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So you're attracted to the female aspect of it. Is there any particular reason why that you know of?
Mostly her personality.
I see.
I think it's mostly her personality, childlike personality, and I'm pretty childlike on my when I'm just by myself. What I don't go publicly acting like some of the stuff I've seen her do. I don't do any of that in public.
Yeah. Chris, he had an odd
I
upbringing, I
was
believe. He was.
taught a lot of things, and I was taught a lot of things in therapy when I was a little kid. Anyways, in California, there's this thing called Regional Center, and it deals with developmental disabilities. It's a statewide organization, and my mom and my aunt got me in that program when I was 3, when I was diagnosed, and they taught me speech therapy and all that because I was mute up until I was diagnosed and treated at Stanford in Palo Alto.
I see.
And they taught me all the coping skills or stuff whatever they knew in the 80s. In the 80s and stuff was like it was like special ed all the way through school. I never attended normal classes at all.
I see. So you're about Chris's age.
Yeah, I'm 13 months younger.
Okay, I see.
13 months.
Yeah, it's good you got that
We're
help.
almost the same.
It's
Yeah, it really changed a lot.
that's
And I kind
good.
of feel bad for her that she never got any of that help. It doesn't even exist even now.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
tried finding it.
a lot of
I
that.
tried finding it. I did try finding it for them when I started getting into this before I started getting really into all the fixations.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it now. It's looking a lot more like schizophrenia. It's really
I don't
concerning.
think she's I don't think she's schizophrenic because I have a friend that is, and there seems to be a bit of a difference in the personality. Because
Really,
I have a friend named Daniel, which I think was mentioned once on the Kiwi, and they haven't bothered him at all. But he's schizophrenic, and his whole personality is way different.
they shouldn't bother
He's
that guy
pretty much
like that.
normal. He's pretty much normal. Daniel's pretty much normal. At
Yeah,
least until you're around him long enough, then you realize something's a bit nutty about him.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert in that, so I'm not able to cast a clear.
My aunt worked with people with disabilities with the ARC. I don't remember what it's an acronym of, but she used to work at ARC as an adult daycare provider, and she worked with people with severe, like super severe disabilities, like where they have to have their like where they're bedridden and stuff like that.
I see.
So I've been around. When I was little, I used to be around. She used to sometimes take me to work with her and stuff, and I'd be around them anyway. I was always around different people. So grew up around different like different types of conditions and things.
I see. That's a good outlook to have. I think a lot of people. I think more people should have that at a young age. It's important. It
Yeah,
puts things into perspective. A lot of kids just don't get that nowadays. But yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you talk about how you've reached out. I've seen you constantly reaching out to Christine. I'm gonna refer to her as Christine now because that seems to be. I know a lot of historically, there's historical context for documentation. They tend to just use Chris to keep of tradition,
yeah,
but you
but
seem to prefer.
I
Yeah,
wasn't around. I wasn't around for the
the
other when
the
I wasn't around for all the name changes.
the glory days.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna ask. I've seen you like very often reaching out to her. Has she ever responded or corresponded with you at all whatsoever? I haven't
she
noticed
hasn't.
that.
She hasn't. She's liked 3 things I've posted. She mentioned something about I forgot what it was. I know the cat died recently, and she
Yeah.
likes. But she mentioned something else about death a long time, like around when I first found her, got to her on Twitter. It was like a month. I think it was sometime in August. I think she liked something. And I posted about my mom. My mom passed away from a gallbladder cancer.
Well, I'm so sorry
They
for your loss.
botched the surgery on her.
That's not good.
The surgery was botched. The coroner told me they cut the tumor in half, and it spread it all over. It spread it all over her insides,
That's so awful. I'm sorry.
and it was medical malpractice. And my uncle wanted to sue the hospital, but only my mom could have, because no, she would have to be the one to do it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of. I'm not sure how that would work in a legal
And
context,
then,
considering she's not around to do that.
yeah,
It's a bit messed
and
up.
and I think the other two things she liked had to do with that dimension thing. I don't
Dimension
remember
thing.
exactly what it was. That dimension shift she talks about on Twitter.
Yeah, that's next on my list of questions. I got for you.
Oh,
I was gonna ask you about the dimension shifts and your rituals. I was gonna ask you, how serious are you about it, and what's your experiences with it? Because they look at these pictures you post, these very like
oh my,
Lovecraftian images of floating
oh
particles.
the entities and like all those the faces and all the figures and stuff in my house.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Oh, I use an infrared camera to catch or sees the heat differences.
I
I have an infrared camera that I take them with, and I can catches things you can't see with your eyes. I was told from ghost hunting. I was told from some ghost hunters a long time ago, get an infrared camera. You'll get better ghost pictures instead of just getting images in the mirrors. My oldest images, I was getting faces in fire or whatever. And then and someone told me you should get an infrared camera and try it and then try it. I was telling them I could feel the temperature changes go through my house, and I was like, get it. And people told me get an infrared, and you'll see what it looks like. You'll see what it is.
That's
And then
interesting.
it's heat. It's like a heat
Right.
or like a really hot area moving through the room.
And you don't think it could
And that's
just be
what's
like a draft or?
no the you have to get it really hot for it to show up
I
on the
see.
infrared. It's not a very advanced one. It's not gonna pick up body temperatures. People aren't gonna glow. You have to get to like I don't know. I got a food tomorrow. I can find out what the camera's sensitivity is. But I think it's over 200 degrees for it begins to glow on the camera. But I think it's
200
near
degrees.
infrared.
It'd melt your
Yeah, you have
house.
to get real hot for the camera to see it glowing.
Yeah,
And
that's
it feels like opening an oven door when this heat moves through the house. These
that's
things move through the house. It feels hot, like you open up an oven, you get that rush of hot. That's
yeah.
what they feel like when they pass through you.
Huh. How
So
do you have a boiler for your house, or is it more old fashioned, or is it just like
it's
modern
it's
heating?
it's all modern. The building has a boiler, but it's in the basement. But the
Okay.
building's from 1971. So we've got a radiator heater, but there's a long bar at the bottom of underneath one of the walls.
It's an apartment, right?
Yeah,
I see.
it's a medium rise. I got 9 floors on it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I meant to ask about that. Not I'm not knocking it. I don't personally. My beliefs don't line up with that entirely. I'm not saying it can't exist. It surely could. I haven't seen everything. I haven't experienced everything. You know.
Well, I've been doing research before. I've been doing research since 2000 when I first started messing with this stuff. My oldest brother bought me a Necronomicon, and me and my friend Daniel went up to the hills, the East Bay Hills, and started messing with it.
Yeah. See,
And
that's.
my friend Daniel is schizophrenic, so he was hearing voices.
I see.
But it wasn't the coherent rantings of like normal schizos. They talk to trees or have conversations just in thin air. But he said the voices are actually telling him things he didn't know, and we'd research it and find out what was being told was true, and it was like, there's definitely we should probably go learn about what's going on,
I see.
and
I
then
mean,
start getting into the spirit stuff.
I can understand the allure of that. It's just it's just I see you do this quite regularly. I noticed. You said you have a witching hour. Like, we're kind of close to it right now. What time do you usually start your ghost
Uh,
activities?
well, you in the wintertime about 9.
About 9. Okay.
Yeah, but in the summer, doesn't sun don't go down till like 10. The 9 it just only gets dark at around 9:30. Then I'll start a little bit later on the summer months.
I got you. Okay.
I just wait till dark. I don't want to wake up the neighbors or anything. And this
I'm a.
building's concrete, so I don't hear anything from them.
I see.
I don't hear their TVs.
Yeah,
So I don't care about the quiet at night because there's no noise.
yeah, I'm on the East Coast. So it's about 10:40 over here.
Oh, you're all the way on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm like right on the coast. I'm not gonna say what states because they want to keep some anonymity for YouTube, but like it's just like right. It's one of the
Oh,
Bible. It's like in the Bible Belt. Um,
oh,
yeah. Yeah. So, and that's just that's good, harmless fun. But I
yeah.
was gonna ask you for your opinion on Christine, her assistance, so she can speak with characters from Sonichu that they exist. She believes they're real, and she'll sort of kind of speak to people on their behalf through Twitter, and she believes the whole thing with the dimensional merge.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? That doesn't seem very
Well,
healthy to me. There's a difference between
done.
healthy.
I do. I know this dimensional merge is not gonna work the way she thinks it will because I know enough about science to know that multiverse theory you can't actually connect the two universes and all that kind of crap. This doesn't really work that way. It's a spiritual
Yeah, I
thing.
mean,
I do it every year. I do this every year. On Halloween and the following and up until All Saints Day. I do it every year. I do my own version of a dimensional connection thing. It's just a door. Just use a sigil, which is a symbols like symbols and all that, and open a door to the spirit world and then try to cross things over.
so you believe that you can somehow traverse the fourth dimension using elements you gathered in your apartment?
Yeah, I got a way to connect to them through a black mirror and some symbols I have on the wall, hanging a bed sheet hanging on the wall in there,
I see.
and it does
And how do these work? Why and how do they work?
uh usually it's through a mental intention. It's like all magic works through belief. Like if you blindly believe something, you're putting energy into it.
I guess.
And in these alternate realities, like the C197 place, it's an alternate. It's like it's you're putting energy. Your belief puts energy into it. It's kind of like the people who believe in gods and deities and all that.
Right, right.
They
Well,
only have energy if you believe in them.
yeah, believing something absolutely makes it true. God's having the power over people that don't believe in it. A forgotten God is forgotten God. You know,
Yeah,
and even if it isn't real, but people believe in it, and it's absolutely
enough people
powerful.
put believe in it. It's like with the Necronomicon. I used to go to this to a I don't know if it's like I don't know it's a pagan street fair they
I
have in
see.
Berkeley every year. And this guy over there named Zell Ravenheart wrote a does an online
Is that
school for
his
wizardry.
is that his given name?
Oberon Zell Ravenheart. It's not his birth name. It's
I'd
a
imagine not.
pen name. It's his pen name for his class online school.
I see.
And I told him about some of the stuff that I did, and I told him about the Necronomicon. He said when he was in college, he had to bless the dorm room he was in because the people before him were messing with that stuff. And he said if enough people believe in it, it kind of puts a life force into it.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think it's
It's like
very
if enough people believe, it's like the more people believe in it, the more powerful it becomes.
that philosophically that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, like if you believe that, that's fine. Because just like you said, the more you believe you put into something, the more powerful it becomes. But I think it's only powerful for those people and the people around them who are affected by their actions as a result of that. Really, A lot of it, has to do with mental, because really you create your reality around you. It's based on your senses.
Yeah.
I've been taking,
Yeah.
a lot of it is, you know, either physically through, things like tai chi or acrobatics, where
Yeah.
you're convincing yourself your body has this amazing force, then it does because you learn how to use your kinesthetic abilities to your
Yeah, it's
full
kind of like
advantage.
the qi or whatever in Chinese
Yeah, which
medicine.
really, like, a
It's the
lot of that
qi.
is complete, complete horseshit. There is some truth behind it. Most of it is just,
Yeah, the mind is a
it's
very powerful tool. It's like
it's,
people have
yeah,
healed themselves just through belief
a
and
lot of it is
meditation have actually healed themselves from
a lot.
certain ailments.
Right, a lot of it is just misunderstood science that currently exists. It's just misunderstood from magic back, centuries ago. Um, but there are some benefits to it. But what we're talking about is the spiritual aspects of what you believe you believe that you're channeling people, and you believe that Chris is channeling people, and that that she has a door to another dimension where she can talk to Sanji characters. And some of that you say, like, being based in the multiverse theory,
Yeah.
pioneered by Michio Kaku and the late Stephen Hawking. You
Yeah.
know, like, has some fairly, decent grounding behind it. But you can understand why some people believe that Chris needs to see someone, he needs to talk to someone, a professional,
Yeah, because
about
someone's
these.
manipulating her. I could tell. I can just tell by the way the the tweets when she's tweeting that it shifts. I know someone's giving her information somewhere.
I don't know.
Someone's giving her this the behavior that shows that someone's giving her information or
Possibly
someone's
it's
manipulating because it seems like it.
possibly she seems to believe that the different Sanji characters are talking to people through her. Like, she'll make a tweet out about, say, this is Magic-chan
Yeah,
saying
Magic
this,
Channel tweet on her behalf or will tweet through her or talk through her
and
or
that's
something.
you can understand why that's concerning to a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
From, like, a
yeah,
medical,
because
mental health, lens, why that would be concerning to people. I was just asking
yeah,
what your take on that is, because you seem a little more liberal, a little more loose with the idea of spirituality and the paranormal, and that's fine, really. To
yeah.
some extent.
My mom's side of the family's Mexican, and they believe in the Day of the Dead. So I'm been kind of raised around
Yeah, and that's
spiritualism, spiritual type things all my life. My aunt said she saw my uncle's ghost when he passed away in the '90s. And she saw
yeah,
him walk down the hallway.
yeah, that's
That was before I lived there, and then of course, and then when my aunt found out what I was messing with, the darker stuff, she didn't let me do any of it in the house because she felt weird, like felt weird around the garage when I was living in the garage
yeah. I
over
can
there. She felt weird around it, and she didn't know what I was doing. But when she finally found out what was going on, she told me to take it to the park. She
the
didn't want it
park.
in her. She didn't want it in the house at all
You were that guy
because
at the park, huh?
she feared I would bring it in. She feared I'd bring something really bad in the house.
The sniff ghost. Yeah, I
I don't know. She thought I'd bring the devil in or something.
the
I don't know
ghost
what she thought I was gonna bring
the
in.
ghost of Bitey George.
Or that.
He doesn't do anything terrifying. He just kind of bites people, like, not hard. It's just kind of weird. It's like a weird uncle. Um,
Oh,
I
never
saw
heard of
the
that one.
yeah. Well, I mean, I can kind of understand some of that. I grew up in the South, like on the Bible Belt. I was raised in a very
Yeah,
religious family. I'm religious starting out. They're not so much anymore, but I was sent to a Christian school as a young kid. It was just very
yeah,
the forefront of my mind. I'm not anymore at all, really. I'm agnostic really now. But I can understand where a lot of that comes from.
yeah.
So I was just curious on your take on it. But you can understand, why people would be a little concerned for Christine's mental health at this point.
Even I'm concerned for her mental health because I think someone's messing with her and
Yeah,
just kind of feed into it even more. I'm not really feeding into it quite as much. There's some background person I don't know if
There,
it's in real life or what, but I'm trying to find out what's going on in the background.
I think it's multiple people. I think it's like hysteria by now, some form of it, because there was someone feeding your information. The ID guy is what he was called until someone doxed him.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so I
There
don't
was a
know. I don't know what the deal is. I haven't really been keeping up with our two hardcore recently, like in the past year. So I'm not too
oh
sure. Um, but I know pretty much everything up until like 2016 and 2017 is where it starts to
oh
get a little shaky. I just
yeah, and I didn't get on board until July of 2018. I think
yeah,
that was the last month of Idea Guy.
yeah,
And then Twitter, I think, was in September. I think I got this Twitter. I think I found Twitter in September.
yeah.
I think it was around September when I found Twitter.
I mean, don't be ashamed of it. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you haven't wasted years of your life reading about someone you never met who has no bearings over you. You
Yeah,
know, it's not like you're George Washington or something. You can learn something from their existence. I guess you can learn something from Christine's story, but most of it's just a tragic tale. More than anything, it's
yeah. Sounds pretty tragic when what I know about it.
kind of it's hard not to be sorry for her. It's kind of hard to be sorry for her at the same time. It's just this very convoluted story. Anyways, I got yeah. So it was, I meant to mention I had looked through
Yeah,
you know some of your stuff on Twitter about your ghost hunting misadventures and whatnot. And
yeah,
so like a thing me and my friend do, right? Like, we're
yeah,
morbidly curious, so we just like look at weird shit on the internet that people do, like, like weird fetishes people are into for some reason they post about that like don't seem sexual but they kind of are, and it's just it's like whatever, or
yeah.
just weird. Yeah, yeah. And so like my friend sent me like this subreddit called like Plushophiles or something, and it's like a bunch of people
Oh,
who
plushy people or whatever.
it's a bunch of people who like fuck stuffed animals. Not all of them, but some of them do. Um,
Yeah, I found that. I forgot how I found that one.
yeah, well, here's the thing. It's a small world because literally earlier today I was scrolling through it out of morbid curiosity, like
Yeah.
while I was eating, and I looked through and I found a picture that you posted,
Oh, the Chris plush that I made.
and it's as if God wants to punish me. I just happen to, yeah. I mean,
Oh, that would be punishment from above,
yeah.
especially for the uninitiated.
So I meant to ask you about the. I wrote CWC Stuffy / Reddit post. So what's the story with the Christian Stuffy?
Uh, I was freaking completely stoned out of my ass, so I
Uh,
barely remember even making the photo.
I see. Welcome to Los
But
Angeles.
I do know about it because I did see it on my messages. I did see it on my updates when I checked it the following morning.
You made like a life-sized like sex doll while you were stoned, like not sober.
Uh, I had the doll already. I used the doll to house spirits
Oh, I see.
and
Okay.
stuff. I use it. I've always had that. I've had that thing for over a couple of years now. I've had it,
Is it like
and
a?
I bought. It's stuffed with clothes.
Okay, so it's not like a blow-up
There's
doll or
no
anything.
no, there's no orifices on it. It doesn't have. There's no hole on it or anything.
Okay, I was gonna say like I don't. If I were a spirit and I was trying to find something to possess, I'd probably like go up to the thing without any cum inside of it. Says a general preference.
No, there's no cum inside of it.
I
So
know, I know. I wasn't saying there was. I'm just saying like I'm joking. I'm not accusing you of anything.
I'm not quite that bad.
I know, no, I don't think you are. I just some people are. I've seen some
Yeah, I
pretty.
know. I've read that form a few times without being drunk or high.
I've seen some
And
pretty
I was
depraved
actually
shit in
kind of
my time.
appalled by some of the plushies with a dildo on it and
Yeah, that's.
fully correct for what it would be.
Yeah, that's I've seen some pretty depraved shit in my time. So I get it. I'm not trying to.
And me and Alicia used to actually go on those a long time ago. I think even before Reddit even existed, when it was just Yahoo groups. Me
Right.
and her used to go on there to do our own trolling
I
when we were
see.
younger on forums that were similar to that. We never discovered plushies. We discovered I don't know what it was. I think it was something to do with animals.
Furries?
Animal shit.
Furries?
Yeah, the fursuit people.
Early furries, the best kind.
The earlier ones. It was like
Oh,
the
jeez.
early
Oh
2000s.
God.
2006. That's when I got the internet the first time. We found a furry forum.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
has a
my
way of bringing
sugar
people
daddy
together.
took me to a furry party that was in the city.
Really? Is
He
he a
used to have
furry?
one. It was just called. Yeah, I've actually seen him in real life. He took me to a fur. It wasn't the fur con. It wasn't one of those. It was just a bar that used to have a monthly night where people would dress up in costumes and shit. And I had no idea what the hell.
Yeah.
I did forget about the forum on Yahoo. I didn't mess with that since 2006. That was before I moved out.
Yeah, that's
But I forgot about it totally.
Have you seen Frederick Newcus? I can't pronounce his name. He does a show. Frederick Newcus. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. He does a show on YouTube called Down the Rabbit Hole. He did an episode about furries. Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I've heard of that. That name sounds familiar.
It's very informative. Apparently, they're largely responsible for bringing anime to the West. The furries are, so that's
They are.
interesting. Yeah, believe it or not.
I wonder why a lot of them are anime kind of have anime elements on the costumes.
I mean, if you're active on the internet, you draw things. A lot of your stuff
Yeah,
is
I see
probably
a lot of art and
influenced by
stuff.
anime. You know, this in 2018. It's just it's kind of infiltrated artistic culture in the West without us really realizing it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I meant to ask you. So I meant to ask you earlier. I was gonna ask you about your sugar daddy, but I meant to ask you earlier about you said you draw comics.
I don't. It was my girlfriend that used to live with me. She used to draw comics.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I don't really draw that well. I mostly do drafting and stuff, but I don't freehand very often.
Yeah, I've always been drawing since I was a kid. I'm working on a comic right now. I've got the first chapter done. It's taken me a while, really. I'm kind of a lazy fuck, but also I don't know what I'm doing. I got some good supplies and stuff. I ordered online. It's just it's time consuming. It's bad on my back, you know.
That's kind of what stops me from even attempting to make a comic. When I do my channeling, I kind of just write down like a movie script.
Honestly, if Chris Chan can make it big, honestly, if Chris Chan can get popular with their comics, and you probably could. I mean,
I just don't
almost
have the artistic skill or the patience.
neither
That's
does Christine. I mean, it's fine. You know, just draw a good story that people want to read, and try your best the art and make it work for your story, and people will want to read it.
Yeah.
But anyways, your sugar daddy. I meant to ask you about that. What's the story with that? What's the story behind all that?
I met him at one of the bars in the Castro. He had retired from. He retired for about a month when I met him. He just retired. You know, he remembers the night I met him more than I do. But he says I just came up to him and asked. I don't remember what he said about what I asked him, but I started talking to him or something. Right, like just walked up to him like I knew him or something. And started talking to him. And then I think he made the move of asking me to go home with him, and I surprisingly did. I've never done that before, but for some reason I did, and it's just kind of worked. Just kind of stuck together after that.
I see.
I was there I think I stayed at his house. I think it was 2 nights. I was over there.
Wow. So
I think I went for 2 nights.
he wanted some company.
Yeah, he wanted some company, and I was looking for some company.
Maybe he was a bit lonely. So you still see him?
Yeah, I still see him. That was 2011, so it's
Wow.
7 years now.
I see. I saw some pictures of him on your Twitter while I was just kind of scrolling through. You look like a bit of an older man.
Yeah, he's turned 74 this year.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Sorry, that wasn't may have seemed kind of rude.
Big age difference.
That's fine. You know, the heart wants what it wants. You know, I'm not gonna knock you for it. It's your decision. You're an adult. But yeah. So where's the? So I guess there's a feelings, there's an attraction, a romance towards him that you feel. Is
Yeah.
it similar to the one with Christine?
Totally. It's like I think it's completely different.
I see.
Sugar
Is
Daddy's more like parental.
I
I
see.
don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It started out more just companionship, and then it turned into more like romantic later on.
I
The
see.
Christine one's more of just trying to be trying to just be buddies at first, and then I don't know what about the Tom girl thing totally made my heart flutter. I actually don't even really know exactly how to describe that. It's just it's a combination of a lot of things that kind of led to the Chris obsession.
Well, I guess if you're bisexual, it'd be the best of both worlds.
And would be the best of both, though.
Um, yeah. How's your sugar daddy feel about you pursuing Christine?
Is yippee, bring her out. Is yippee, bring her out.
Jesus,
Another one.
what a fucking stallion at 74. I mean, I gotta have a little bit of
Yeah.
respect. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's thankful at his age to have someone, young, very young, in
Yeah.
that manner. But yeah. So Christine. So you said you haven't really gotten to talk with Christine, correspond with her.
No. I actually called her once because I ordered a poster and it looked like it went through a paper shredder.
Yeah, that sounds
It was
about right.
crumpled up. Was all crumpled. And
Oh
stuff.
god, Chris, why? Yeah. I've ordered one thing from her. It was like a signed copy of issue 0 of Sonichu, and it came in just fine. But like, granted, the way it's designed, the printing is very bad, and the spine is off center, but it's fine.
What
I
is it?
didn't.
Homemade? Are they really homemade?
No,
Stuff she makes?
they were printed off of Lulu.com. I think she's had multiple self-printing, um,
Oh,
distributors she's used, but
I
like,
use
uh,
Lulu's supposed to be better quality than what I've received. I don't know where she's printing now. 'Cause I use Lulu to get my books published because it's cheaper to order from Lulu than it is to have the print shop around the corner make it and
you
print
write
my
books.
books.
You write books.
Yeah, I've got 5,000 pages of documents
Wow.
associated with all my occult stuff.
Do you have a pen
And it,
name I can look you up on?
not right now. I just have a website where everything's just the books aren't really all that public anymore. Just they never took off, so I just kind of dropped it. But I do have the books on a website though.
What's that website so people can look it up if they're curious?
I'm getting it right now. I'm gonna send it to you on the thing,
All right, let me.
the text part of the chat, and it's one of my magic site. At the bottom of the home page is a bunch of links, and they will prompt you to download a text file or a Word file. And that's the canon material, but the channeling is like 80% of my work is in the channeling materials.
I see.
How do I get back to the call?
Um,
I kind of went off of it and
I think it's in a separate window from.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I had to take the channeling books down because I had somebody's address in there.
Really?
Some of Dale's girlfriends were Wiccans and stuff, and they talked to my entities on Facebook when I used to do channeling publicly. When I used to do it on the Facebook chats.
There are entities on
One of the
Facebook.
and one of them had a ghost or something in their house, and they wanted me to remote view it or something, or one of my entities to remote view it, and they gave me the address. So I'm still going through those files just to make sure there's no more personal information of anybody
Well,
before I can release them.
that's nice of you. So you said these entities have a Facebook page.
They used to. I shut down most of them. The only one's left is Michiro, which is the one that kind of gives me information about, helps me with writing spells or whatever I need, anything like major spiritual stuff.
Is it common for spirits to use Facebook?
No, I think I'm the only one that does it.
Because,
I don't
usually,
know
like,
what goes through
because
there.
I think a lot of people see, like, using Facebook at this point in time is, like, selling your soul. So, like, I'm not sure how that would.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off of Facebook because there's nothing on. There's not really anything in there for me.
I hate it so much, dude. I haven't used it, like, I haven't used it seriously in probably since 2013. It's just awful.
Well, it's even worse now. They changed the text format. They changed the chat format, and it's like
Really.
I can't even use it for what I was originally doing.
It's like a
I think
yard
we're
sale.
out.
It's like a yard sale. It's got the same problem Yahoo's front page does.
I don't even know what the front page looks like anymore. I
Looks
haven't
like a
signed
yard
up in so
sale.
freaking long.
Yeah, it's yeah, so the spirits, they have Facebook pages. Is
They
Facebook aware of
used
this?
to. They used to have Facebook pages, but
How do they post on Facebook of their spirits?
I would channel it. I would do the channeling myself.
Oh, okay. So you're sort of
And I
you're their medium.
used, I'm the medium, and so was two other people. But I don't. One of them passed away, I think the day after Halloween, and the other one's pissed off about it, blamed Chris for it, and went on a rant. I haven't heard from that other person, the other
How
guy, since.
how would it be Chris's fault?
They're spiritual too, and they think the dimensional merger has something to do with it.
Do you
I
believe
don't
that's
believe
going
it
to
has.
happen?
I don't believe the merger has that kind of power. Because
But
I
do
do
you,
it every Halloween.
but do you believe it's even going to happen at all?
No, nothing's gonna happen. It already did. It happened during the Halloween when the veils are the thinnest. The veil between the worlds is the thinnest. That's when this kind of stuff should be done.
I
It's not
see.
gonna happen a day before court. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, I see. Okay, I forgot to
I
mention
found
that.
out she has a court date. She has a court date on the 19th, and she says, "Oh, it's gonna happen the 12th. I'm gonna get 10 times my income."
Oh yeah, jeez, Chris.
If that was possible, I would have like millions of dollars right now because I do it every year and have since 2000. That's 18 mergers that
This
I've
is
done.
You see, this is
Ritually.
something Chris has been living in his fantasy world for so long, for like since
Yeah, it's way
2006,
too long.
and it's been under attack in his mind because for him like there's no difference between reality and Sonichu's sort of universe. So when people attack, like when people berate Sonichu or they criticize it, it's like Chris
Yeah.
sees it as an actual attack on Quickbill, what he's worked for, his family. So this is something Chris needs to be true. Chris needs his income to be 10 times as much as it currently is because he needs his life not to fall apart because his mother's on her way out. And
Yeah, she's
only
skin and bones last time I saw her in a video. She's nothing but skin and bones.
the only way I can see Chris like surviving after her death is if he becomes a ward of the state, and even then his health and his living conditions, I don't imagine that he has
I don't
very much
think
longer.
I don't think he would last very long in a group home.
He's not capable. He
Autistic?
was. Sorry, I was.
Even if he was capable, even I can't go to. Even I won't go to a group home.
Yeah, I don't.
The autism is. You kind of want to be on. You kind of want. You need your own space.
Yeah,
you
see-
actually do need your own space. You go crazy. You actually go crazy.
Yeah, see, this might sound a bit patronizing. I mean nothing of that sort, but I just want to say that given if you think you'd have an issue, you're very well put together. A lot more than I thought you'd be tonight, given some of the content I've seen. Yeah, you put out. You're very well put together. Very, it's really been a pleasure talking with you. But like Christine, I don't believe she could even. She cannot deal with people. She wasn't taught to. In fact,
No,
she was
wasn't
taught.
exposed to anything. She didn't go through She didn't go through any of the social programs or the training.
In
She didn't know coping, no nothing. She
In
wasn't
fact-
given any of that.
In fact, she was taught that, outsiders, people she doesn't know, are evil and they want to use her at a young age, is what she was taught by her parents. So, I don't know what she's going to do. I have no
I was
idea.
hoping to become friends with her and become friends with her and possibly be an actual friend, but I don't think it's going to happen now. She's too paranoid now.
I was
Barely even
wondering.
responds to anybody.
I was wondering if you realized that, if you just thought that maybe you should keep pushing, because some people, especially on the internet, where there's a lot of communication people
Yeah,
tend to obsess and think if I keep pushing, maybe this person will actually pay attention to me, which really, in
I'm
reality,
actually that's my current plan. Is just to keep pushing, pushing, and pushing. Eventually, she's gonna realize there's something. I'm not gonna go. I'm not going away, no matter what
well, you
any of these
gotta.
people say. I'm always gonna defend her, drunk or not drunk. I defend her. I don't think I've ever berated her at all.
I mean, you gotta keep in mind though that like you gotta. Some people just you can't win everyone over. Not everyone is going to be willing to go your way. No matter what you do, it's just something you have to live with. And that's some people learn that earlier in life. Some people learn it much later, and it's completely natural to try and want people to get them on your side. But some people just can't be helped, or some people just don't think they can mesh with you very well. I will say that I'm sure Christine appreciates or would appreciate. I don't know if she even realizes it's happening, you know,
I
but
don't think so. I really don't think she's really even all that aware of what's going on.
I'm sure she would appreciate the fact that you want to reach out and seek some sort of romantic relationship with her or friendship with her. But I don't know if
I don't think in reality, I don't think anything's gonna happen. I know there's like 3 Kiwi people that are actually in contact with her that are just telling her not to trust anybody or whatever. I don't that are kind of manipulating her.
Well, see,
But I know about it.
that's not exactly sound advice either, really, because that's kind of what she's been told her entire life, and that hasn't led to very
Yeah,
good situations either. Um,
yeah. I guess I might just be lucky that I had family that knows how to deal with autism and different disabilities that they pop up in our family. I got family that knows that dealt with it correctly. Her family just tried to treat her try to make her normal, but you can't really make somebody disabled normal.
it's the
You have to
old
train. They have to be taught how to cope with it and live with the thing they've got. They got to learn to live with it.
it's the old paranoid Southerner approach to things. You just shut everyone else out. It's just you and family, and you know everyone else can be damned to hell. That's just how a lot of some families can work around here sometimes. Very shut in when the going gets tough, just us against them, and that's not really a healthy outlook in any situation. I think that has had a long lasting impact on Christine's mental health and outlook on life.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was gonna ask you. So I was gonna. I'll let you go here in a bit so you can get ready for your ghost hunting stuff. I won't be more than like 20 minutes. Um,
Oh.
but I was gonna ask you some. I was wondering if you've read about Christine or Chris Chan or whoever. People watching this will probably be very
Yeah.
passionate about that. I refer to him or her one way or the other. So I'm just kind of using it interchangeably so I can piss everyone off.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
um, so Chris, how much have you read about his past, his exploits throughout the years?
People have tried to do the gross out tactic to chase me off, so I've seen pretty much everything from every angle.
You've seen the Unclit, right?
Yeah, someone showed me the squirty video.
Of him
So I've seen
coming
every. I think
coming
I've
through the
seen
hole he
every.
cut in his taint.
Yeah, where the stuff shoots out of that hole thing, or
That
that
that's not
whatever she
even
made for that hole, and there's stuff shooting out of it. And
that's not even that's not even mentioned on the quickie, and like I didn't even know that existed until a couple weeks ago.
it was sent to me on Reddit.
Yeah,
It was on the Reddit. That's where someone tried to do the gross tactic. It was Reddit, and I think someone did it on I think someone did do it on my thread on the Kiwi. I think someone did do one video, and it was. And then I got a comment yesterday showing her fucking a PlayStation 3.
well, yeah,
And
that's
that's
been.
pretty old. It was 2007, I think, originally.
Have you seen Cake Farts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had a good laugh out of that one.
Oh,
I actually did get a good laugh out of Cake Farts.
that's
And the
interesting.
doll. I've seen her dolls, her pillow, and the blow up.
Yeah, Kimmy.
Her dating it literally in public, having going on a date with the blow up doll at a park.
Yeah, they've fucked a hole into all their blow up dolls by now. I think one like got a hole in it from the continuous stressing, and the other one died in the fire. I'm not sure.
I yeah, I think I don't know. She's had like 3 or 4 of them that I've read about so far.
Really, I
So
haven't.
I have dug pretty deep, as much as I could on the quickies, uh,
Yeah,
Wikipedia or something, whatever that is.
that's
The
the
other
sick.
site.
That's the sick fascination that comes with it that everyone seems to get for some reason.
Yeah, the site loads so slow sometimes because there's probably so many people looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's run out of some shitty web hosting server in like East Europe or like Poland or something, and like it doesn't get as much money coming in anymore because Chris is kind of mellowed out a bit. But but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The video of her or coming through the unclit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty desensitized. That made me feel a little sick.
Well,
Like, I keep thinking
after
about that
seeing
all day, and I'd be like, why did I view that? Why did I watch that? Because someone explained what it was. I watched it anyways. Because I just saw, it can't bother me,
even
but...
knowing what it was, I wasn't told what it was. I was not told what it was. I
Uh,
said you should see your girlfriend or whatever, and then there's a link.
did it
But I
bother
didn't even know
you?
what it was till I opened it.
Did it bother you? Did it gross you out? Did it arouse you? How did you respond?
Kind of grossed me out actually, because
Yeah,
I've seen infections before because people outside are a bunch of drug addicts,
really.
and I've seen people with infections before. I'm pretty used to it now because I see it all the time. I think my city has crocodile, and that one puts holes in your
Are you
skin.
serious? Crocodiles in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's been in the U.S. for 10 years now.
Really? How that
Yeah.
happen? I mean, isn't crack
We make it here now
aren't like crack and meth really cheap now? Like, can't you get that pretty cheap? Why do they have to turn to crocodile?
because it's even cheaper. It's less than $10 a hit on the
Yeah,
streets here.
yeah, but like it'll
The other
rot your
ones are over,
limbs off.
still kind of up there.
Yeah, but like it'll rot your limbs off. I thought like
Yeah,
I thought the bottom of the barrel for like getting the edge off is like shitting and pissing into a plastic bottle and storing it under a hot cabinet, like in a swamp somewhere for days and pulling it
yeah,
back out and sniffing it. I
yeah.
mean
But I thought that
that's
was in
free.
Africa.
That shit is free, dude. You know that you can't knock that. That's free. I mean, I don't care drugs or not. You know, you gotta. I respect the grind. I respect the budget. You know.
And I'm honestly surprised Chris hasn't gone into hard drugs. That idea guy or someone else hasn't done that to her yet.
Really, like,
I
Chris.
know about the weed. I know about the weed because someone's like, "Hey, what do you think about her smoking weed?" It's like, okay, do edibles.
He's been smoking weed. Really?
Yeah, I found out she smokes weed.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Chris used to be really opposed to drugs.
Well, apparently all the media and everyone, I know she's a Democrat or whatever. She says she votes Democrat, and Democrats love weed.
Yeah,
I guess
that was a big
she
shift.
follows the party.
That was a big shift in his her politics. You know. Because, like, that used to be one of his, like, the top 3 most evil things was homosexuality, and, for him, at least, was homosexuality and drugs and, I guess,
I
trolls
remember, and
or
black
men.
people was a smaller one.
Oh, yeah, and black
She was-
people, right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that somehow. Yeah, black
she was
people.
racist. She was racist.
I mean,
Was I don't know if she still is. Doesn't seem like it anymore.
people want to change.
Voted for Obama. She voted for Obama after all. But she
Yeah.
can't be that far. She can't be that far in the deep end.
Yeah. You know, it's... A lot of that, I think she was just kind of echoing what her parents said. But,
Yeah.
I meant to ask your thoughts about what was I going to ask? I had it. I lost it. It was your thoughts about something homosexuality, racism, and drugs. I mentioned that, and oh yeah, your thoughts on the too many
Yeah.
games this year.
Too many games or a little meltdown.
Yeah, she apparently they were saying that she
She was kissing people.
like without their consent and grabbing them, touching them, hugging them. You
Yeah.
know, not too explicitly, but still, it was the line was crossed, and I don't think she either didn't realize or
Those
didn't
cons are
care.
very sensitive about breaking the rules.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine. Like I'm
They
not
are
trying to
pretty
knock.
sensitive, 'cause they do have to protect other. They do have to protect the clients or the people that go there.
I'm not trying to
And
knock
I
people.
found,
Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
but oh, I was like, yeah, I saw that video. That was one of the earlier videos I did see. Was the one where a based shaman interviewed the guy that got kissed,
I haven't seen
and
that
they
yet.
showed the video. Well, this guy named Based Shaman. He wears a turban or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's just a costume turban. It doesn't look like a real one. But he does a whole bunch of stuff about incels all the freaking time. But he had a
Yeah.
saga
Yeah.
who did 30. He did like 30 Christian videos a while back.
I wish people wouldn't give them so much coverage. You're kind of validating their, not validating them, just making them feel validated. That's really, they should really be ignored. It's not a good corner of the internet to try to spotlight on unless you're trying to bring awareness as like a negative, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, I wish I was there. I wish I was at too many games.
yeah, you should have been. You know,
I've
you
never
could
been to
have.
one of the. I've never been to any of those cons. I've been to a Comic Con once, and that was the only one anything related that I've ever been to.
You could have been the molestation sponge, so you could have gotten felt up because you wanted to, and everyone else would have been safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was. I think I even put a comment like on along the lines of that. I wish it was me. She would have never gotten in trouble for. She would have never gotten any trouble. Would
Yeah.
have been like, yippee!
Doesn't change the fact though that she did that and she didn't realize it was wrong, or maybe she did but didn't care, and she thought that because she kind of has this thing in her head
That
now
was
that she's.
it was during the Idea Guy saga. I think it was the very end,
I don't
or
know about
towards the
that.
end of it.
But she kind of had the idea that she's a celebrity. She just still does, and that she can just do this. And like a lot of people seem to think um, that she isn't truly a trans woman. That she only did that so that she can like be more accepted into female,
Well,
female
that's what I'm
circles.
thinking because she doesn't. Someone posted a drawing of her old self, and all the trans people I have ever met, they hate their past selves.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
think she liked the photo. She liked the drawing that somebody did of her
honestly,
as Christian. And all the trans people I've ever met, they would have been appalled. They would have been pissed. Like, don't remind me of that life.
yeah, honestly, like I'm not trying to
So
like
I'm
take a
not sure. I
stance.
don't really know what she's trying to get. I don't really know, but all I know is no real woman's gonna chase her like I do. It's just not gonna happen because people I think there's laws or something. I don't know if it's federal or each state has its own rules, but I've been told a few times when I was at the bar, or whatever, people have told me before that it's not okay for people to have sex with me because I'm disabled.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean
think,
that's
and I've been told there's actual laws for that, and I know a lot of people are probably aware of that now because it does appear in the news from time to time,
right.
or it has appeared in the news in California anyway. It's happened. I think someone got. I think I don't remember what the context was. It had something to do with the church
Oh,
or
that's
something.
bad.
That's
That's
always
bad.
that always leads to something bad from stuff I find.
And that was probably a real case of abuse of someone who truly wasn't aware
But
of the surroundings and the situation being taken advantage of. And like in your case, you're very high functioning. Like that's a super gray area. I'm not going to begin to tackle it because I'm not qualified to. I know nothing about the situation. Like I haven't studied autism and adults and an adolescence, and I haven't studied the law
yeah,
around that. So I'm not going to even pretend like I can tackle that. But and I will also say that like I don't really. When I say all this stuff about Chris or Christine, I really don't. I don't have a super. I'm not against the trans sexual situation
yeah.
right now. I'm not super against it. I'm not against it. I'm not like an advocate. Like not. I'm not an advocate. It's like it's not my fight. I guess I'm not strongly. My thing is like if you enjoy something and you believe it's right for you and it doesn't hurt anyone, go for it. Um, I'm not trying to diminish people who are going through that or, take away from their struggles or their life experiences. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to, at the same time, I'm not trying to, like, overglorify it to the point where, take advantage of it. Because I think I see a lot of people doing that, taking advantage of it to make, money or gain notoriety.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just asking how you felt about that. People saying that Christine, or Christian, isn't truly trans because he has no, or she has no, real intentions to
Yeah, because
to
she
go forward.
didn't. She never. She's not on the hormone replacements. I've seen people do hormone
Well,
replacement,
she can't afford it,
and it
really.
does. It is a lot of changes that take place, and I don't see any of that. I don't see any of that taking place
I
because I
don't
think they'll
see.
give you hormone treat replacement before they reevaluate you for the surgery itself.
Yeah, I don't think that Chris.
She's not
It,
serious into that, like deep into that part.
I don't think she's stable enough right now either, or at all, really, to even go through that. Because I imagine there's a lot of emotional and physical and mental, emotional baggage that comes with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because essentially, you're essentially it's something you're turning yourself into something you want to be, but you're essentially kind of destroying this current state of your body and your chemical makeup, and that can really do something to the mind. I'd imagine. I had a friend. I swear I dated someone who was trying to transition to male,
yeah.
while they were still female. It was interesting for me because I'm not really. I'm mostly straight, like 80%. So like but at the same time, I encouraged them to do what they wanted. Um,
Yeah.
so that was an interesting time, but like they used to tell me about how like all the emotions attached to it and how they had to deal with these feelings of missing an identity that they truly have but couldn't attain. It was inside of them, just out of reach. That stuck with me because I can sort of imagine that. I mean, I can't imagine the way they would have experienced that because I've never had any issues with that. I was born a guy. I'm fine with it,
Yeah,
and that's
we're
just my thing.
fine with who we are.
Yeah, and there's nothing
Regardless.
wrong. And I wouldn't say that there's necessarily anything wrong wanting to change who you are. It's your body after all. It's your life. I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
anyone what they can and can't do with it, so long as they don't hurt anyone in the process. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry, I went off on a tirade. This is supposed to be about you. um, anyways, yeah, I was going somewhere with it. I was just asking you your outlook on that about
Oh.
Christine. Do you believe that maybe a lot of people seem to think that he or she is trying to take advantage of people with her because she believes that her status as a female kind of
I think
exempts her from sexual harassment.
I think
Because
her views. I think she is trying to use it for publicity or what, like a PR stunt
right,
in some way, but on her level, which seems to be, I don't know, convoluted
you don't think it's a conscious
and
effort. You just think that something they see as like almost
I
like
think
a
she just. I think she's seeing it as just a way to just like trying to make herself the best of all the things or like all the genders or something. Like if a straight woman wants her, she still has a penis. If a lesbian wants her, she looks like a lady. If a bi woman wants her, she's
yeah,
got
yeah,
both. She's got both. Looks like a woman, but still has a penis. That's what I think it's all about. I think
right.
that's really what it is. She just wants. She's trying to. She thinks that she can be. She's all of it. She can. Then all women will be attracted. And I know that it's not really how it works because I've actually had a girlfriend twice. I had one in high school, and Alicia.
Yeah.
And Alicia was trying to transition, and I took her. And since it's San Francisco, we've got bars, clubs, everything for every combination of thought there is. We've got something here for it. So I just took her from one to the next. Everything she wanted to try out, every transition thing she wanted, I took her. She wanted to try to be a. She was always tomboyish anyway, so I took her. She once thought she was lesbian, so I took her to the lesbian night in one of the gay bars in the Castro, and she got hit on. She got hit on by some women, and she wanted to leave right away. And
Oh,
then the next, Alicia went through the same thing. Chris did, but at least Alicia was more. There's a more accepting environment for exploring that stuff over here,
oh
and she
yeah.
wanted
She's
to
in the
do
Bible Belt.
she
She's
went into transgender after that, and I took her to the trans bar called Divas, and took her to the show there, and went to a drag show so she can see what that was, and she really wasn't really sure about it because they were really convincing. You couldn't really tell at all. They
right,
were like
right.
fully. They were These women were fully transitioned.
Oh
And
yeah.
so they did they all had surgeries, and she did get to talk to a few of them and find out what happens. It's not, you don't just take a hormone and grow parts. You have to have a surgery where they do things. You have a surgery where they construct all that stuff. And then she was like, no. And then I told her, why don't you just be whatever it is, just be whatever combination you are. This is San Francisco. You can be everything here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about the surgery. I believe Christine believed that you listening to binaural beats and certain frequencies on YouTube could help her
Yeah, that
grow,
binaural beats thing.
which led to the unclit situation of her cutting her
Yeah.
taint open. Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked into binaural beats, but the only ones I only found out about binaural beats is because of her. And then I went and found a legitimate channel for binaural beats, and they simulate drugs. I
Yeah,
found one that was simulating drugs. I forgot what what the site was, but they had a different drugs. You have to have like really expensive headphones to even get them to work. And they said only about, I think it was like 80% of people experience something. Another percentage would actually feel the full effects of what the beat does.
I see.
And I know they can put you in a different state of mind, because I have done binaural beats for meditation and shit. Yeah, there's a frequency in them or whatever.
How many
It's supposed
different?
to make your head feel kind of weird.
How many? I used to do this when I was a younger teen, and a few years
Yeah.
ago, I used to meditate quite a bit. Not quite as much anymore, but how many recreational drugs have you done? Different types. Like, can you validate that? Yeah, this is just like doing this drug or similar enough.
No, I can't validate it.
I see.
I'm, I've seen too many horror stories of what happens when you do take drugs, even when you even want to look into it.
I see. But you said you
It's so,
said you do recreationally smoke marijuana. Have
I do edibles, actually.
edibles? Okay,
Yeah, I do edibles of
I see.
marijuana. That's the only one I ever do. It's like a drug-like thing.
Those are mostly legal in California now, right? I haven't been keeping up with the
Yeah,
law.
you can just come here and buy them.
Oh, cool.
Buy
Okay,
them, buy them like you go to
like a
the
grocery.
pot club place, and they scan your ID, and I think it pulls your information up when you go to buy it. So they do. There's still some weird process where they know who you are because they scan your ID when you go in.
We out here buying cannabis like it's
They
beans.
actually scan it.
We out here buying cannabis like it's beans.
Yeah, literally. Literally, and Sugar Daddy has it shipped to his house.
I don't know if you
He
ever,
orders online, they mail it to him in a container.
I never ever heard of Filthy Frank, but he had a music career as like one of his characters, and my favorite lyrics is I'm out in the street selling cocaine like a grocery, except it's not groceries, it's cocaine.
Yikes. Some crazy song.
Yeah. You should look it up sometime. It's what was it? I do it for my hood. It just satirizes like the whole ever enthusiastic con artist type
Yeah.
drug dealer. Um, yeah. SoundCloud upstart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I meant to ask you earlier. You got any
Yeah.
hobbies aside from ghost hunting? And before I leave you off tonight to do your stuff, because you got about half an hour before you got start getting ready to do your stuff. I know you like to do
It's
every
already
night.
ready. Everything's already set up.
Okay,
And I don't
yeah,
think I'm gonna do anything tonight because I can't open the windows tonight because it's completely smoky outside.
really.
I had a break last night, but tonight I don't think I'm gonna get a chance. I'm available all night now because it's too smoky to open up the windows.
Well, I won't
Be able
keep
to air
you.
out, I won't be able to air out the apartment from the incense. I'll be able to get this incense smell out of the apartment.
Well, I won't keep you too much longer because I've got to, get to
Oh,
bed here soon too because it's getting to 12 o'clock for
cool.
me. But it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure talking to you. But I've got a few more questions to ask you, and you can just add
Okay.
anything you want to get out there for the folks at Kiwi Farms or on the internet in general. Something you want them to know or want to assert. I understand. The internet wants to sort of latch on to someone has this sort of fascination. I know it can be a little unpleasant, and some people are cool
Yeah,
about it.
internet's just weird people.
It really is. They don't have anything better to do. I mean, I don't either. That's
Yeah.
why I'm, interviewing some dude I never met before at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
you know. Anyways, well, one of the questions I wrote down, I just read through is that ironic? But I think I know it's not now, so I'm gonna skip that one. was gonna ask you just about hobbies you have aside from ghost hunting and you know the things you mentioned. Any hobbies you like to do? What's your daily routine like?
It's pretty much the weather's good. I'll be outside walking around, just talking to people. I ride the cable car. I got a free pass, which lets me use the cable car. So I hang out with the tourists, tell them restaurants and stuff. So I mostly just talk to people outside, practice my social skills,
That's good.
keep my social skills at least presentable. So when I go places with my sugar daddy, it won't be too weird.
I see.
But
Yeah,
some of his friends don't know what autism is. Some of them are kind of
old
haven't been really
fashioned.
around it. They've never met anyone with it, so I kind of at least try to keep my social skills halfway decent. Just talk to the tourists and talk about where people come from and
There's old fashioned, I guess.
restaurants and stuff. They do a lot of restaurants around here. Before I had my worker that cleans the apartment, I used to had to eat out every day.
Uh,
So sometimes I go to the food bank when I run out of money. I just go down to the food kitchen, the soup kitchen place,
I see.
and then when I have money, I go to different restaurants and try different places out. Mostly just cheap places,
Oh yeah,
diners,
cheap
and stuff.
like
And it's
cheap
hard to find those here.
cheap Chinese, cheap Thai places are the best. Like the shadier, the better.
Yep,
If you have
yep,
to question whether or not the cook has washed his hands and properly cleaned the food, then it's amazing.
yep. Same thing here.
Because they're
Both
like
coasts got that in common.
they get out that hand crust into the lo mein, you know, you taste it, it's crunchy, and it's great.
Yeah,
Like the heart wants what it wants, you know. If it don't care if it's disgusting, if it tastes great and you love it, then go for it. You don't
yeah,
care if you get heart disease. I mean, obviously, it's you got to worry about heart disease and you know health stuff, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah. At least San Francisco don't have to worry about too much of the health issues because they got so many rules here about what you can put in the food.
From what I understand, you know, San Francisco is
Fast
mostly
food,
rules.
yeah. Carl's Jr. and Burger King have cancer warnings
Wow.
on the outside of the building. You go to those, it has a warning that says the ingredients used in the food here are known to this, or chemicals in the food are known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects. Or some warning like that.
That's
And it's
awfully
on the
courteous
fast
of
food
them.
places.
That's awfully courteous of them.
Yeah, I would. So I won't go to a place that have a warning like that on them. I avoid fast food because they have a cancer warning on them.
Yeah, I don't eat too
Yeah,
much
well,
fast food anymore, but I probably shouldn't at all,
yeah,
really. It's just whenever I'm in a bind or, you know, I feel like feeling awful.
yeah. You just need
Sometimes
something now.
sometimes you just want to suffer, you know? It's just natural. Um, all right. I was going to ask you your thoughts on Sonichu. Have you read through it? You know, how do you feel about it, the story?
I've read a dub of the Sonic Shoe. I've read, and I'm working on listening to a new one that someone's doing it's at least they're more serious about it. But I think they might even have a voice actor or something doing the characters. But I have read through the comic up to I think 12, the number 12. I think is the last one she
Well,
made.
yeah, you're practically done, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I think that's all of it. So I have read it, and it starts out all like it starts out. You know, it's definitely her, and then all of a sudden, it starts shifting around. Like you know, somebody's again. People are messing with her so much, the comic suddenly goes off the rails.
Oh, yeah, there was like weird fat fetishism that lasted like 2 pages until they backpedaled because of some like girlfriend or heart interest they had at the time. It was weird.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah,
was just weird. It didn't make a lot of sense. I couldn't make much sense out of it.
a lot of things in
I
Sound
would,
You don't make a lot of sense.
yeah, like I tried figuring out what the hell was going on, and I had to go back to the documentary, one of the documentaries that was made about her, just to find out where did this come from?
Honestly, the trick is to just stop worrying about it. Just let it happen. Let it happen. You know, it'll all be over with
Yeah,
soon. Just close your eyes, grit your teeth, clench, grab onto something. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a wild ride. Yeah, if you're looking for like audiobooks and stuff, Bryn Daniel reads. Or he's just called Bryn Daniel now. He's a funny guy. He still does stuff. He read all of Sonichu like over the course of like from 2014 up until like last year. So for
yeah,
like 3 years, maybe it was more than that. It may have been 2013 he started. But
yeah.
yeah, if you want to see an audiobook, his stuff is all there. You know, it's established. He's very funny. He's a funny guy. You know, that's actually how I found out about Sonichu through him. How I found the
Oh, it
guy.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'd recommend looking into his stuff. And I was wanted to
Okay.
ask enough about my stuff. I was meaning to ask how you felt about the final chapter of like season one, as you call it, Sonichu, where like people would get mutilated and horribly murdered. Like some guy gets his dick taken off. How do you feel about that?
I don't think remember that part. Maybe I didn't.
It was retconned out. It's possible like the version you read didn't have it in it.
Probably not.
What it was is like the Kiwi
The
Farms.
one I had was censored, and I heard some of the stuff was pulled out.
Oh yeah, there's like weird sexual stuff, like a lot of it.
Yeah, I never saw the sexual stuff. I saw the sexual drawings on the quickie.
Oh
That's where I
yeah,
saw some of the drawings, but not in the comic itself. I don't even know what issues they're in or what. But I saw the girlfriend that's Megan. I saw
yeah.
Megan Schroeder's nude in that, but it wasn't in the dub that I listened to.
That poor girl never asked for any of that. I think Chris has been trying to like reach out to her again. I meant to ask you about that too. I noticed you tried to reach out to her too on Facebook.
Yeah,
That didn't seem like a little, too much to you because she's been actively trying to get away from Chris for years. Like she actually had to push him away because he was being too aggressive and she really didn't have any
yeah,
interest. I was gonna ask you how you
yeah.
felt about all that. With Chris being
Uh,
convinced that she has goddess powers and that she needs to come to Quickville.
I don't even really know. I was like, what the fuck? Who put her up to this? Because it
Yeah,
was just out of the blue. It just came out of the blue, out of nowhere.
I think she's been trying to drop off the map very unsuccessfully. But
Yeah, and the freaking Kiwis tractor and this guy named the Captain is I think talks to her. I
they're
think
like
this guy
a.
on the Kiwi called Captain talks to her.
I don't have
And
a
Chris.
really. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot against. I'm not super against QB Farms for the most part. I know everyone there has their own different outlook on things, but like for the most part,
Yeah.
they're like vampires. Like vampires can't hurt you unless you invite them into your house.
Yeah.
That's kind of a similarity I see there. But yeah. So that's all I really meant to ask. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff I will think of as soon as I hang up, like tomorrow morning.
Just write it down.
Yeah. But
I
that's
won't be going to my daddy's until probably this. I'm not sure. I gotta talk to him and find. I'll probably be here for another couple days.
I hope you enjoy that. Have a have a good time with him.
I'm going to Thanksgiving with him and some friends or whatever. That I kind of made them all in my family. So,
Did you say he's a furry?
who's
A
a
furry? You said he
furry?
brought you to a furry convention. I just meant to ask earlier.
He was. It was he. I don't know. I think he watches sports so much that maybe he thought it was mascots originally because he never went
Uh,
back. He must have thought it had something to do with mascots, like the characters that run around at the football games he watches.
that's
And
such a like.
sometimes they'll have a mascot dancing around the stadium or whatever the field.
That's such like an out of the loop grandpa thing to do. I love it.
He didn't. He didn't even freaking know what he was getting into. When he got there, it was just random characters.
Poor guy. Yeah, geez, that's a scary situation to be in. No, nothing gets furries. They're really great. A lot of them are. Some of them are crazy, but
I've never had any bad experiences with them.
I
Probably they're
think
not in
like
the first suit or anything.
they're like Nazi furries. Apparently, that's apparently a thing. But they're not. There's Nazi everything. Apparently, it's 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like a. I don't know. It's fucking weird, dude. The political climate's insane right now. But
Well,
anything.
2020 it'll be over.
Hopefully,
It'll be back to normal, and all this will be. No one's even gonna mention it anymore or whatever.
I sure should hope so. Yeah. So, anything you want to add about yourself? You want to get out there? This is your time to shine, my friend.
I don't really have anything to add.
Nothing to add.
I didn't really think of anything I wanted to say because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you're gonna think of more stuff, and you'll be back.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever do a follow up. If I do, it won't be super soon, just for the sake of getting it out there, let people see it, letting it
Oh
marinate for
yeah.
a bit. But I've enjoyed our talk. You're very. I hope this doesn't sound disrespectful. I like to treat everyone as equals. That's just how things should be. Really, I didn't come in here with. I had a bit of an idea. I'm gonna say that based on what I saw on your Twitter and the things you did with the stuffed doll and the channeling, like you're a lot more. You're very level-headed, very, very well put together. Like more than I thought you would be. I kind of thought this would go really badly.
You thought you'd be interviewing Chris 2.0, didn't you?
Maybe not Chris 2.0. I didn't think you were quite that bad.
2.0.
I didn't think you were quite that bad. You weren't begging for money and yelling at people over the internet and assuming false identities. But yeah. Anyways, just want to say it's been a pleasure talking with you. You're very, very good time talking with you. I appreciate you letting me reach out and ask you some questions. A lot of people have been curious about you on the subreddit, Kiwi Farms, etc. Maybe this will, because the thing about the Kiwi Farms and people on the internet who like assess over these like lol cows or whatever. You're not saying that you are really. I mean, think about it. There's like, there's a dehumanization process involved, and I think kind of giving you a voice and having you speak just normally with me about this stuff really helps help people realize that you're just a person behind a computer, just like them, and maybe you may be a bit eccentric. You may have some things about you that are a little odd or hard to understand or explain, but you're just some guy, some Joe, and there's nothing wrong with that. So hopefully that does something for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad finally people get their answers. From someone who's going to put the information where people are going to see it and know that it's real instead of just me ranting or whatever when I'm drunk or whatever the hell I do.
One last thing for real now. The poetry you've been posting on the subreddit. What's up with that? You've been writing. Are you drunk when you do this? Are you high? What's up?
If I'm trying to make Chris into my mom, that's the weed. If I'm just madly in love with her, that's beer. They seem to have different effects. I didn't realize that until recently.
I haven't read them. You're trying to make her your mom?
That was the weed mostly, but I very seldom use it. But there was a few times I called her mommy on Twitter.
I can't tell if that's sexual or not.
A couple of times I did, and that was when I was stoned out on the weed chocolate, and I guess that's what kind of personality it makes or whatever. I don't.
So the weed is peace and love, and the alcohol is a friskiness, right? The alcohol is a friskiness, then, right? Okay, I get you.
Alcohol makes me more frisky.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I was curious. Just thought I'd ask why. Okay. Anyways, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm gonna get some sleep. I hope your endeavors with your ghost hunting and your seeing your friend across the state goes well. So it's been nice talking to you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.